You know, on Netflix, over half of their content promotes the Skittles doctrine. So, what I might call the Rainbow Reich. And if you have enough propaganda for the Rainbow Reich, it's going to seep into the minds of children, okay? And if you really think about it, I don't know if any of you believed in Santa Claus when you were a kid. I didn't. My parents were sure to tell me that Santa Claus isn't real as a figure. Saint Nick was a real person. Saint Nicholas was a real person, but that's a real person, and you can actually tell a story about this man's life. And he's actually pretty awesome. He's knocked a guy out on the floor during the Vatican Council, and so that's pretty badass. That's a real human being, okay? But if you talk about people like Santa Claus, right, who he's got these elves up in the North Pole, and they're making these presents for you, and he delivers these presents and he sneaks down your chimney. Big fat man comes down the chimney. It's very easy to sell it to children. But if I were to try to tell this to a person who's an adult, somebody who's properly formed in their life, and they have the availability of logic on their side, it's pretty hard to sell the idea of Santa Claus to a grown person. I don't know if it can be done. And so to bring this back to Netflix, you notice that a lot of this stuff is geared toward children. A lot of the stuff on YouTube is geared toward children that is kind of trying to get them to understand this Rainbow Reich doctrine. So this is why it's really good to have a bunch of people on our side, because we don't really need to lie to people. We have the truth on our side. All you need is truth, facts, logic. You have statistics at hand. We can just tell people the fucking truth. I don't have to keep track of a bunch of lies. And that's one of the most handy things about promoting whatever doctrine that you might call this. I don't have to fucking lie to anybody, and I'm always inviting criticism. But I'm talking to adults. So I already know there's going to be pushback, and I already know that I'm going to run into people who have valid criticisms that I can actually contend with. Children are not able to do that yet. This is how they do this. This is how they brainwash an entire society. They go for the children, which is fucking sick, because they don't have the fortitude to fight this. They're vulnerable. That's evil. It'd be one thing if you were trying to indoctrinate adults, because at least they have the ability to reason. But children, it sort of doubles up on the evil, So if you're ever thinking about making content or making videos like this, please help us. We need help. There's not that many people out here in total who are actually telling the truth. I've realized, because most of the people out here, they just don't give a shit. Most of the adults, they just stopped caring. They stopped caring because they want to have an excuse to live their life the way that they want to. But we need people out there who are willing to tell the truth. So if you ever felt an inclination, make some videos, talk to people, send some messages, talk to your people, talk to your family and friends. It's not that hard if you actually study this stuff and you're backed by logic, facts, and you do your own homework and you figure this out. We have the truth on our side, man. We don't have to lie to people. They do. So it's harder for them. But have a good one.